element that we will be exploring is data management. So while Splunk is a great tool for analyzing and investigating data, it does not support managing your Splunk data lifecycle from conception to maturity. Many Splunk admins are responding to ad hoc requests for this data type or this source type throughout their workday, and there's no clear request process or support built into Splunk itself. Other admins are using external tools, and while that may work, they are increasing the surface area and complexity of your Splunk workflows. To fully equip new admins with their new responsibilities and to empower other admins to reduce the complexity for their users, we brought the data request workflow to Splunk. This rests entirely within Splunk systems and it allows admins and users to come in here to request new data. So as admins, you can set your request status and notes, but as users, you can say, hey, this is why we're using the data, and this is what the data is. If they have additional information, they can add source types and indexes that they recommend, and any information that makes it as easy as possible for the admin to get things rolling. You also can assign an owner, a business unit, and an owner contact info to this to speed up communication lines and to declare who owns what in the future. So after requesting a new data type, it'll show up here on your admin's page where they can inspect it further and edit it, of course, to see if they need more information or if they're tracking changes in status. And of course, as a user and admin, you can clone these requests for ease of use. So you can get multiple things out and running rather quickly. With these tool sets, this empowers admins to own the conception part of the data lifecycle. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, that's not all. Data is also, or the lifecycle also includes managing active data streams. And with that, we have data inventory. So we covered the start of the data pipeline about, hey, what data should we get in and who owns it and why. But there's the other aspect that Splunk doesn't really give you any tools for, which is managing active data feeds. So many, if not most, Splunk environments are suffering from an issue we like to call data sprawl. Over time, through a combination of one-off requests, responsibility handoffs, changing mission goals, and admins dropping on and off the project, Splunk admins lose the plot of their environment. Questions that should be simple, such as what are my top 15 license hogging source types and why am I ingesting them in the first place, become a feat to answer. And there's no promise that the answer will be recorded for the next time the question's asked. This isn't just an issue for knowing what your Splunk environment is up to, it's directly tied to what you're spending money on. Each data type you're ingesting that isn't needed is taking up valuable room that's pushing you ever closer to the next license increase and dramatically upping the required price tag of Splunk. So to solve this, we introduced data inventory. So from the onset, data inventory gives you a bird's eye view of your ingest and your environment. So right here you can see our most used source type indexes by license usage. And furthermore, you can see additional information when you click on them. So with this feature set that Atlas gives you, we added data definitions. This is going one step further than just knowing what data is taking up your license. It's prescribing notes to what these items are. So we pull events, host, and index and source type information for you so you can get an understanding as an admin. But also we give you the tools necessary to increase the data tied to these index source types. So as an admin, you can go in here and say, hey, this is owned by this person. This is the business unit, and this is what we're using it for. This allows you to answer these questions quickly when people ask, why are we ingesting this data, or who owns this data in case we need to turn it off. Let's go talk to them about this. This is all about creating a source of truth for your admins so they stop wasting time having to redo the same workflow again and again every time the quarter is near its end, and instead they're proactively taking charge of their environment. An additional feature set is the data watch ability. Here with the data watch feature, which you can see with these bell icons, you can visually see what source types and indexes are being monitored by our data watch scheduled search, and you can create new ones automatically. When it comes to these index source types, we realize some are more important than others, and these critical data feeds can be supporting your mission dashboards, reporting to leadership, or be pivotal in your alerting structure, so you know if a fire has been caused before anyone else does. We really want to automate this workflow and make this normalized for tracking and consistency purposes. So with that, we added the data watch feature. For any one of these index source types, you can click on the bell and say, yes, I want to watch this data, and create a custom search using baselines to say, hey, I want to be notified if there's a 90% drop in data. Then say, I want this to run every hour on that, or whatever cron schedule you want. You can then prescribe a time window and time span to see how much you want to go for building the average case. So let's just say it's running 1,000 events every hour, and you check the past hour and it only gives you 200. It won't trigger this one, but it would trigger a 70% here. And of course, when it does trigger this alert, you can say it will do any of these actions and any additional actions that your Splunk environment already has set up. With this, you can automate the process of creating and tracking what data feeds are important to you. This is great for auditing purposes to make sure critical data feeds are still coming in. And as I said earlier, with your critical dashboards, you want to be the first person to know as a Splunk admin when something goes wrong, not your users. And this will empower you to know that. So finally here we have the data management dashboard, which combines both data requests and data definitions for a bird's eye view of what is happening when it comes to data in your environment. To recap, we have started this data pipeline management from conception to when it's living. And with data management, admins can now truly own their data feeds. They can own their environment from start to finish when it comes to what's going on, what are they spending money on, and they will never lose the plot again of their Splunk environment.